Everybody okay? Because I just need 30 seconds with this woman. Thank you.
Oh, coming through. Sorry.
I know this is a far throw from a hidden paradise. But wherever you are in the world, that's where I belong.
But
Rachel Chu, will you marry me?
I'm Vanessa Zoltan.
And I'm Matt Potts.
And this is Hot and Bothered. So, Matt, we're going to talk about the ending of Crazy Rich Asians today. I am going to summarize it for you. Are you ready?
I think I am.
It's not timed.
Oh, good. Oh, that is reassuring.
So Rachel has just told Eleanor, like, I'm leaving Nick. I said no. And so she gets on an airplane with her mom to go back to New York. And oh my God, Matt, it's so depressing. They're in coach. And so different from that rich life.
So can I I'm sorry, Vanessa, can I just interrupt? Your recap is excellent so far.
Thank
I just
you.
want to ask you a question, which is, we know that Nick paid for Rachel's mom's ticket, for Carrie's ticket to Singapore. Did he buy her a one-way ticket? Because that would be rude. Because obviously she doesn't go back. Even if he convinces Rachel to stay forever and ever, Mrs. Chu has to go back. So did he buy her a one-way ticket, or did he buy her coach tickets on this 25-hour flight to Singapore?
I think he's so dumb that he bought her a one-way ticket just because he doesn't think things through.
Okay.
I absolutely think that he bought her a first-class ticket for the way there, and then Rachel had her first-class ticket for the way home and turned it into 2 tickets.
I will accept that.
There is no evidence for this in the film.
And they have to be flying home coach for the purpose of the film, of course. Like, they have to be walking through coach while people are loading bags. I was just thinking, like, wait a minute. Did Mrs. Chu fly coach to go heal her daughter? I mean, there's nothing wrong with flying coach. I just feel like Nick does not have to fly.
Nothing wrong with flying coach. That's all you and I fly.
I know. I just didn't want this to be coming across the wrong way. Like, how could anyone fly coach? I'm just saying, like, why is Nick, with his wealth, allowing his guests, the mother of the person whose heart he just broke, to fly coach? That's not acceptable.
Well, and I do think that the movie thinks that there's something wrong with flying coach, right?
Yeah, I think
we were talking about this in the
right.
last episode, where they are assuming that the audience covets wealth.
Yes.
And I think coach is a place where you're like, yep, I covet wealth.
Like, there's a person loading a bag who has large pit stains. And I feel like that...
2 people.
Everyone... This is a decision of the movie. This isn't just because it was hot in the studio that day. They are deciding that they want people to look grimy and gross in coach.
Which you are. Like, Singapore's on the equator, and you're not going from air-conditioned thing to air-conditioned thing to air-conditioned thing if you're in coach.
Yeah,
like, you took the subway and then had to walk from the subway to the airport. I live this life, and I'm sticky a lot.
It's a pretty well air-conditioned place, if I remember. It's pretty chilly in Changi Airport, I think.
I'm just saying that I think that if you are going to try to convince the audience that you really want this lady to marry rich, making coach look as brutal as it is, I think is really smart. Okay, so Rachel and her mom are getting on this airplane in coach, and they're like running into people and bumping into people. And then what? Nick gets on the plane. And oh my God, he has no pit stains. He's so handsome.
No,
and he's like, Rachel, I love you. And while he's like walking to her and trying to propose to her, a couple of things happen. One, Rachel's mom is like, I'm going to get out of the way so that you guys can have a moment. And also there's this just like older Chinese woman who's like very emotionally invested in this. She gets like really excited about what's going on between Nick and Rachel. Nick, proving that he's Prince Charming again and again, just starts helping everybody load their luggage, because he's a good guy, but also because he wants everyone to be out of his way so he can propose to Rachel. He gets down on one knee to propose, and she's like, Nick, no, I told you no. I don't want you to choose between your mom and me. And he gets down on one knee and he proposes with his mom's ring, which means that she approves. Eleanor approves of this proposal, and Rachel is crying, and the woman behind her is like, yes, she says yes. And Rachel is like, yes, indeed. I say yes. They kiss. Yay. Then she's like, you should get off the plane. Like, are you coming back to New York with me right now? And he's like, no, actually, I was hoping we could spend one more night in Singapore. Let's get off of this disgusting coach flight. Who lives like this, right? And they get off. And then it turns out that there's a surprise impromptu engagement party. It is the most obscene thing you've ever seen in your life. And it is also kind of like a curtain call for the film. All of our favorite characters are there. They've all like progressed a little bit in their plot. Bernard is there with the girl that he hooked up with at the wedding, etc.
Yep.
And Awkwafina is there and her parents are there. And Rachel's mom is there. And then Rachel and Nick kiss. But the final shot between humans of the film is between Rachel and Eleanor. And
Yep.
Eleanor sort of nodding at Rachel, like, yes, I've given you my approval. And so that is sort of the emotional thrust. And then, we get a drone shot panning out of the opulence of this ridiculous party that includes a full synchronized swim performance that nobody is watching.
Great summary.
Thank you for attending my recap.
Now, you suggested in the last episode that you and I have a different reading of The Gift of This Ring. Is it too quick to get to this?
No, let's talk about it. Tell me what you think this ring means.
Well, I don't know, because now I'm afraid I'm wrong. But I think it means that Eleanor is no longer going to object to the wedding.
I think it means that. But
okay.
Why do you think Eleanor gave the ring?
Boy, this is hard. I think the movie wants us to think, if you follow the logic I had last time, that this is about the realization of Chinese Americanness.
Right.
That a person can be both fully Chinese and fully American, whatever those two things mean. And those meanings are contested and unstable, which is why it can never be fully true, right? But if you're going to be both, then what has to happen is Eleanor has to recognize, oh, I thought that Rachel wasn't Chinese, even though she looks Chinese and speaks Chinese. As Rachel's mother said, she's not Chinese in her head and her heart. She's like, oh, by doing this thing, by letting me win at Mahjong and the future of my son, she has proven that she is Chinese in this most fundamental way. And since that was my main objection to their marriage, I guess I can relent and let them get married. Doesn't mean I like her that much.
Yeah.
The last scene, she doesn't seem like she likes her very much. But again, that's pretty Chinese, because Amma doesn't like Eleanor very much, right? Like, it's just
right.
like, now that I see that you're fully Chinese, I guess you can get married. I will no longer object. I think that's what's going on, but I'm really curious about like what you see is going on and how you're reading it, if you're reading it differently.
Yeah, I think that Rachel gives a little speech at the end of the Mahjong scene, which is right before the airplane end. And Rachel says, you made sure that neither of us could win. I can't win because if I marry Nick, I'm taking you away from him. And you can't win because by saying no, he will resent you for the rest of his life. And so I think it's both. I think it is. And then she proves that she's capable of sacrifice for Nick. She just loves Nick so much. But I think that Eleanor actually sees, I've backed myself into a corner here. I'm going to lose my son. I'm either going to lose my son and he'll marry a woman who it turns out isn't as bad as I thought, or I'm going to lose my son and he'll be unhappy. But either way, I'm losing my son. And so she is like, fine, you can have my permission because this is the path of least loss of relationship with her son. And I think it makes narrative sense. We know, and Rachel also says this in the Mahjong scene, we know from earlier in the movie that Eleanor let Amma raise Nick. Nick lived with his grandmother instead of his mother throughout his childhood because his mother was like, the grandma will love you more if she gets to raise you herself. And so I am sacrificing my relationship with you for you. And then Rachel is willing to do the same thing. And I think that Eleanor doesn't want to sacrifice her relationship with her son again. She didn't get to raise her son. And so she's not going to risk losing her son now. And so I think that this ring is a way to communicate to Rachel, like, I approve enough, but I think it is also about Eleanor wanting to maintain her relationship with Nick.
I find that to be a convincing reading. I'm not sure I totally hold it also, but I think it's absolutely valid and I like it. I like it a lot. I think there's a part of me that just is like, I think Eleanor would be like, Nick will get over it. Like, Nick will think he's sacrificing and resent me for a year or two, but he's not going to resent me forever, especially when he has this other wife. So there's part of me holding on to that, but I think there's another part of me that also, I spoke last episode about the way that cross-class love and patriarchy overlap. I think there's also something going on here, which is like the way Rachel does this invites Eleanor to see some solidarity among women. The culture that we are in means that we must express our agency through the way that we manipulate our relationships with men, our sons, husbands, fathers, right? And because there's something in the way that Rachel's mom looks back at Eleanor. I didn't read it as like, I hate you, how could you, to my daughter. I read it more as like, everyone's just trying to survive. I know that that's what we're doing. That's also what you're doing, which is why you didn't see your son for a while. And what you're doing every day still with Amma, who's not very nice to Eleanor in this movie, right? Yeah. And there's something in that, like, kind of that brief moment of like two moms looking at each other and being like, listen, everybody's just trying to make our way through this and find some happiness and success, which is, to me, like, yeah, it's not speaking against your reading. It's just, I think, where I'm placing the emphasis in my reading. Because there's a part of me which thinks that, like, I don't know that Eleanor wouldn't be willing to not have a relationship with Nick for a while if she actually thinks it's the best thing for Nick and her grandchildren. Mm-hmm. There's lots of stuff going on there. It's not on the screen, right? Which is what makes it good, right? All these things could be true, or only one of them's true, or they're all true in varying degrees, and that's what makes it a really rich encounter. And also makes, I think, the performances really good. I think that, the performances are able to capture a lot of these multiple meanings so that we can have this rich conversation.
Yeah. This crazy rich conversation.
Crazy rich conversation.
It's crazy rich. Matt, are you rooting for Nick and Rachel? Like, are they happy at the end of this movie? I am so concerned for them. I'm like, Nick apparently is a year late moving back from Singapore. He's supposed to take over his dad's job. His dad, like, might die from stress if Nick doesn't take over soon. It's intimated. And Rachel is like tenure track at NYU. She doesn't want to give that up. They've talked about nothing.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Rachel. Let's say this. Nick is fine. Nick seems kind of like not super complicated to me in the way that Rachel is. And so, like,
he's hot.
Well, he's very handsome. But I just feel like I think he's going to be okay, whatever happens to Nick. I don't mean that just in like the shallow sense of like because he's rich, but also like emotionally he doesn't seem real complicated, and I feel like he'll probably figure out a way to find happiness, right? Rachel, I root for her. I don't know that the way this movie ends, that what is on offer is the thing that's going to fulfill her most. I mean, it makes me really sad that they did not make the sequels because I want to know what happens with Rachel. Because I would have ended this movie differently than it ends if it were speaking towards the future thriving and success and flourishing of Rachel.
The sequel screenplay was supposed to be about Astrid, so you wouldn't have found out anyway. If that makes you
Rachel
feel better.
doesn't show up? She doesn't even show up?
I don't know. I didn't read the script. Okay.
I think we would have gotten some information.
I think we would have gotten a hint. Yeah. But yeah, if I could rewrite the ending, there would be an in-depth conversation where the two of them talk about something. Like, it gets hinted that they're going to go back to New York tomorrow. Yep. So, they are going to go back to New York. I just wish that it was like, so are we never moving back to Singapore? Are you taking this job? Something. Or even if she just said, like, we still need to have a conversation. I want a yes asterisk from Rachel because there just isn't enough. There just isn't enough information for me to be confident that the two of them are going to be happy together. And I agree that it's on Rachel's behalf that I am concerned.
Yes.
And I'm like, I don't know if I'm rooting for you to be with this guy. I think you might be happier, like, in Flushing with the house that your mom finds and commuting into NYU than, like, dealing with this ridiculous opulence of $1.2 million earrings that makes you sick.
Yep.
And people putting, like, dead fish in your bed.
That's right. These are a lot of the same people who are not very nice to her are here. I think if I were writing the end of this movie differently, they fly Coach back to New York. Their engagement party is with her friends, like, getting a slice someplace in New York, just having, like, not very expensive pizza, because that's the life that Nick loved before they left. And it's okay for them to return to that. It's okay for them to, like, say, like, this is where we are going to be received by our people. And if you want to do the curtain call, during the credits, you can do like scenes of friends visiting from Singapore and doing Queen's stuff. Right? Like, you know what I mean? Like
getting off on the Flushing stop.
Exactly. And Nick dead happy through the whole thing. Right?
Yeah.
That's the way it ends, where you're like, oh, I'm not worried about Rachel now, because she has been in Singapore for, it's hard to tell because we don't know how long she was sat on the couch, right?
Yeah.
But she's been in Singapore for, we think it's spring break, for a week, maybe 2 weeks. And most of it is the saddest she's ever been. But the year before, when she was in New York with Nick, was great. That's why she wants to marry him, is that year. Like, I want the movie to suggest they can succeed because this permission that's given by Eleanor is a permission for them to lead their lives as they imagine it, not to bring Rachel into this. But again, I think the movie, because the movie kind of subtly wants us to imagine ourselves into this incredibly opulent lifestyle, the happy ending has to be like, oh, and also you're going to have everything, including synchronized swimmers at your impromptu engagement party.
Which is exactly what I want.
But like, what Rachel most wants, what makes Rachel happiest, is sharing a dessert at the counter.
Right. And actually being like, dude, we're super rich. We can afford 2. So get your own piece of cake.
Exactly. Right. Like that's the level of opulence they want. 2 desserts. Right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think that one of the reasons that the movie can't end like that is that there are no good alternatives for the head of the Young Corporation, right? Like all of the cousins are so ridiculous. But the way out of that is Ollie. Ollie, the rainbow sheep, who also serves as like a fixer in the family. So we see how he can make anything that needs to happen, happen. And he can do it behind the scenes and really smartly and really quickly. Like, I want to see what you described happening in New York and then flash over to Singapore where Ollie is CEO.
That's absolutely the story. Ollie becomes CEO because he's the most capable of anybody, including Nick. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Nick is like coaching basketball at the Y.
The Stinky
That would be
Y.
such a great movie. The Stinky Y. It would be great.
Why don't they ask us, Matt?
You know, I don't know. They keep not doing it, though. Movies keep coming out that we are not co-writing. Yeah, it's interesting you bring up Ollie. I mean, he's clearly the most competent cousin of this generation, right? One of the things, he calls himself the Rainbow Sheep, which is funny, and also you invoked it here. One of the things I'm really interested in is like the kind of inferred or implied relationship to Christianity that is going on in this movie, right? Like, I think this is part of the colonial stuff we talked about last time, that like the adoption of colonial whatever is part of a mark of class. And we know that these folks, like the moms are all gathered around doing Bible study when it first starts. I mean, the verses are interesting. They talk about, like, the verses that they quote are like about bringing up your children right and putting your value in, not in worldly things, right? So it's like there's some, they're well-chosen lines. They go to the church and they talk about, oh, we're Methodists. We would never treat a church this way. Like there is this like implied...
We would never spend $40 million on a wedding.
That's right.
We would stop at $20 million.
Exactly.
Because we are Methodists.
Because we're Methodists.
The line.
That's right. And so like Ollie's sexuality is part of what is... I mean, the fact that Ollie calls himself the Rainbow Sheep means that he is excluded. At least partly, probably in other ways because of sexuality. Like they use him, exploit his talents in other ways. But that is another one of these like echoes around the corner of a particular kind of Christian ideology that's operating at the edges. Whereas in the joke about like we would stop at 20 million, like you can see other parts of the Christian ethic and ideology not really impacting the decisions of these people, right?
What are you talking about? 20 million is so modest.
That's right.
Ollie is just one of my favorite kinds of characters. I love a fixer. This is a job in like 1950s Hollywood that I think I would have been really good at. I'm like, give me cash and a goal. And I just think I can solve most things. Yeah. And so Ollie has that job. And I'm like, yeah, Ollie, you're the one who gets stuff done. Matt, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Okay. Rachel's final outfit in the engagement party. She's wearing this purple dress and this clip. Are we supposed to think that she's in her like H&M New York clothes, or are we supposed to think that she's in like Singapore fancy like she was at the wedding?
Oh, we are revealing ourselves because some people watched that scene and knew.
Yeah.
Right?
And I'm
You
like,
and I.
what's being signaled by her clothes?
Which one is it? Is that a off-the-rack Gap outfit? Is that H&M? Or is that Vivian Wang? We don't know. That means it's not for us. But I am betraying my ignorance. I'm guessing that's Singaporean high fashion. She doesn't show up at that party in her H&M off-the-rack, I think.
Right. Ollie somehow made it happen.
Yeah, if Nick and Ollie have time to set up the synchronized swimming team,
Yeah.
they have time to get her a dress.
It's really the clip that I'm like, that's so much diamonds.
Well, maybe that's both things, right? It's an off-the-rack dress.
Yeah.
But the clip
A
makes her
diamond
acceptable.
clip.
Chinese American. There you go.
Matt, my favorite line, I think, in the whole movie is when Rachel shows up at Araminta's plane hangar to fly privately to the bachelorette party island. And Araminta goes, oh my God, it's so cute that you put together a Gap look. Rachel's just like, yeah, okay. Rachel just lets that go right off her shoulder. She's like, that's fine.
My favorite line from the movie is insert Aquafina dialogue here.
Bok, bitch.
My bitch, yeah.
She's so funny in this movie.
Yeah.
Okay, Matt, you should watch this movie if.
You're an Asian American with anxiety about your sense of authenticity. You should also watch it if you love Aquafina, because she's great in this movie.
So basically, if you're human,
Right, so everyone should watch.
everyone should watch.
Okay, Vanessa, you should watch this movie if
You love clothes and abs.
there's lots of abs in this movie. They tend to come in sets of 6 in this movie.
And you know, I'm never sad about seeing them. I'm never like, more abs. Never. Matt, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us about this movie. I was so smart to ask you.
This was great. I mean, I have to be honest, I thought I would like this movie less after talking about it with you. Just like I feel like getting critical about all the stuff that I'm ambivalent about would make me, I like it more.
Yeah, it's such a fun movie.
It's so fun. And also, I really think it does explore this stuff. And you don't have to love every part of a thing to enjoy a thing. It's great.
Yep, absolutely.
Thanks for inviting me on.
You've been listening to Hot and Bothered. We are a small show, so we need your support to run. We are in the middle of a Patreon push. We are trying to convince more of you to contribute to our Patreon. And if you are contributing to our Patreon, to maybe consider supporting us a little bit more as an incentive. Every day this week, we are releasing a bonus episode where Ariana and I talk about the love lives of Lorelai and Rory Gilmore. There's also just a treasure trove of past perks that you immediately get access to if you join our Patreon. And there are all sorts of other perks too, like a weekly co-working time with me where we listen to Taylor Swift and we get some work done. You can find out more about all of that at patreon.com/hotandbotheredrompod. And if we hit our goal, we're going to do a bonus episode with Hannah looking at the film Love Actually. We are a Not Sorry production. Our executive producer is me, Vanessa Zoltan. We are edited and produced by Ariana Nettleman. We are distributed by Acast. Thanks as always to our soulmate level patrons, Molly Reilly, who we would chase through an airport to declare our love to. Molly, this is a movie for you. Nick does this for Rachel. Love you having a movie, Molly. Becky Boo, who would wait for hours on the top of the Empire State Building for. Elizabeth Schweinsberg, whose heart we would play a game of one-on-one basketball for. And Lauren Bayer O'Connell, who we would call up on stage to dance with us in front of the whole summer camp. Thank you, my beloved professor, minister, friend, Matthew Ichihashi Potts, for being our guest. And to our team, Julia Argy, Nikki Zoltan, and Issa Ahmed, Danny Langley, AJ Aramas, Courtney Brown, and Stephanie Paulsell. Next week, Hannah will be back and we will be looking at Pretty in Pink.